Alright guys, this is my drive shaft to my Audi A8L. This was the problem. That is the old U-joint. It was tore up bad. So there was a lot of play from one unit or one piece to the next. Before you separate them, mark them so you know which way they were, just in case balancing is an issue. And when you tear it apart, you might as well change this. I tore it up, but it was partially damaged. I tore it up taking it out. The problem here, let me get a pointer. See, they're not notched right here for the pins or the rings, circle rings. But there are U-joints that have the pins on the inside. So once you put the U-joint in there, you install the pins on the inside from right here, not from out here or out here. The trick is getting a U-joint that fits. I'm going to show you guys what I did, and I found a U-joint that fits perfect. See, because there's very little play. Right, let me put that, see if it stays. It won't stay. So when this squeezes in there, you can notice there's very little play here. So do we grind this down and that down? If you do, I'm going to show you something. You've got to grind down the exact same amount for balance purposes. And this applies here also. Here's the other side. So that goes there, and see how they're at a slope, tapered? So what's the solution? Do we grind it down? I'm going to show you guys, and it worked perfect. I say it did because I've yet to put it in the car, but it's going to work. There's no fucking way a $30 part for a U-joint is going to slow my car down or force me to pay over $1,000 for a rebuild. And however it is you decide to beat this out, whether with a bearing or with some type of rod on this side here, on a vise, and pounding it out, then flipping it over, pounding it out, then you pull this cap out, then you pull this cap. However it is you do it, you've got to make sure that you clean this up right here, because all of the factory pins, there's an old pin there, there's an old pin there. You can see them at about 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Looks like 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 and 7 o'clock. You've got to make sure that this is very smooth. And if you use a round file, do it very slowly. You don't want to take out too much, because this new one has got to go back in there very smooth, very tight. But check this out. People say these are not replaceable or non-replaceable. So if I do, just to get you an idea of where we're at. So if I do this, here's my micrometer. Let me zero out. There's 0. All right, so let's do this. We are in millimeter. And these two right here and here are going to sit completely flat on the caps. No gaps. There's no daylight between there or here. So let's see where our rating is. So we are at, oh, trying to focus. So let me take this out of the packaging. Okay, so No fucking way was I going to pay $800 for rebuilt fucking drive shaft. Okay. So there we are. 60.13. 60.13 is where we're at. Okay. And this is 61. Let me tighten this up. Hold on. Am I too close on the camera? Probably. There we go. 60.9. 60.9. 60.9. All right. Let's go back over here. All right. Let me turn this. So 60.3. All right. Now check this out. Let me do the new one first. This is just the cap. Just the cap is 23.8. 23.8. I don't know. Some of these are slightly warped. But let me see. 23. Yeah, this one's warped a little bit. Let me take out one that is a little more rounder. 23.78. So slightly different. But spoke to the manufacturer who sells these. These are not staked in, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this. The rings go on the inside. So let me take this out, the tool. Here's the yoke. These will very easily fit. Oh, I got to take the caps out. I don't want to, but let me do that. I will. So there's one. I'll just take one out. Okay, so there's one cap out. The other one will let me go in. So it is not going in smoothly, which is, you don't want it. You want a little bit of pressure to hammer them in. So let's see how tight that is going to be. And then this one is going to drop inside there. That's not smooth either, which is good. You want some pressure to hammer them in. My only issue is going to be, let me get a pointer. See right there? The width between here and here is greater than here and here. So I am going to shave down just a little bit, the smallest amount, right there, so you can see where the lock ring needs to go in. Right there. So once I hammer them in place, it is going to need small amount of grinding right there, but I have to do it completely straight, completely plumb, so the ring will be able to sit in place on both sides. The good thing, these are slightly tight, so I've got a little bit of play also. Once it's in place, I can move it slightly back and forth. So I'm very happy with these. So I'm going to make a video of the installation of this, but for somebody, I've looked everywhere. These are agricultural U-joints. I fucking looked everywhere to try and find these for the car. I tell you, there's no way I'm going to pay. The cheapest drive shaft I found was $800. So there was no way you're going to get me to pay that. Here's my drive shaft. So other than drive shaft, there's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with it. it was fine. So I was able to press these out very carefully. But I am going to do this. I cleaned this up real nice. Here's a new one. 23.9, 23.85. That is pretty damn close. 23.86. 23. That one reads 23.9. I don't know if that's focusing in or not. 23.9. So, what I had to do also, the height, let me do this. The gap down here on the bottom is less. That reads 39.7. Up here is 43. I don't know if that's reading or not. 43.6. So, because these are going to have the rings, the lock rings, are going to go on the inside here, not on the outside or not staked. There's a groove right there. So the lock ring goes there, and then you push it in place. So the thing is, this is the measurement. Let me zero this out. This is the measurement that's critical. Right here. From ring to ring. Outer ring to outer ring. Oh, I don't want to move the joint. So outer ring to outer ring. 40.4. If that's reading. Hopefully. 40.4. So the bottom here has got to be we are at 40.6. 40.6. Go down all the way. You can see they're only 3/4 turn. So you don't have to measure all the way down to the bottom. If this were a clock, you would measure roughly at 7 and 4 o'clock. See, these go there, but on the inside. So roughly at 7 and 4 o'clock. So what you want to do, I shaved off with a file, just a little bit here, down on the bottom, very little. And I would not do this with a grinder. Just do it by hand. Very little you want to take out, just enough where it is wider than the left side of here and the right side of there. That way when this sets in, let me do this. When that goes there, and that goes there, and that goes there. Okay. I can't push that in because it's pressed in. But, so you want, this is going to move over to the left, and this ring is going to go there. And when this one is pressed in that way, the other ring will go there and lock it in place. This was the problem. You cannot use, because of that bolt there that locks the center cap or center support into the shaft. This is a new center support. Here's the old one. And here's this. This tore apart with all the vibration. But if you're going to open it and it's not bad, you might as well replace it anyway. You can find them online for under 30 bucks. So the problem with this U-joint is this. You cannot use a greasable U-joint because that bolt, come on, get in there. There we go. So you cannot use This fitting does not go all the way down to hide all the threads. The problem, see, if you line it up here, going straight across here, you can see, here's the problem. If that is straight across there, look at the fitting. It's going to hit that bolt. And this has to go in. This cannot hit that, otherwise you're not going to be able to turn it. Turn the bolt to tighten it. So you say, well, why don't you turn it around this way? And yes, that'll free up here, the clearance. Let's do it straight there. See? But the problem is, this side is going to hit right here. So you're fucked. But are you? Well, I won't show you where I got these. And I have yet to open this, but the place I found this agricultural U-joint sent me a Christmas present. All right, hold on, guys. Let me do something here. Hold on. So let's see. Let's see what this looks like. Hold on. Good packaging. All right, hold on. All right, so there is the box, and here's a new joint. So this is non-greasable. That's going to solve our problem. Some people claim greasables are better. Some people claim they're not. If they're sealed, you don't have to mess with them. So here's non-greasable. So joining the two pieces here at the yoke is, you can see it's already angled in where the right side, right there, see how easy that pops in? Now aligning the top here, right there, you can drop the new cap in. Let me do that. Don't have any issues with the grease fitting. That little daylight you see right there, there was not enough room between the top of the U-joint and the very top of this. As you can see, it's angled, which makes it even worse. There's no way you would have been able to grease that anyway. So this is a non-greasable fitting into a non-repairable, non-serviceable, non-replaceable Audi A8L Driveshaft. There's no fucking way I was going to let this son of a bitch beat me. No way. I can't believe that nobody makes parts for this. I ended up I called a friend that works at Skunk Works in Palmdale. He works stuff I can't tell you about. He said, get green Loctite and put a little bead in there. Green Loctite is almost liquid. And it will seep into all the little cracks here. Let it dry 24 hours. He said you will be good to go. That's why you see the shininess right there. This is not wet. It's just shiny. It's dry. It's got very little residue left over, but I can't. remove it. So I've let it sit for more than 24 hours. And I'm going to clean this up now. When you put this together, this is directional. You cannot put this turned around. This part here is rubber, and there's another rubber piece below it or under it that goes inside this. So you cannot, this is directional. It's not either way. If you try and butt this up against here, it's not going to work. And make sure you tighten your bolt down there nice and tight, because you're not going to do it after this is assembled. So I have nothing to lose by, I think I got this, what was it, 25 bucks? And the only other thing I had to do, this is the width on the inside. We're talking about, I can't get the exact number here, but that width, that number there, 30, what's that reading, 37.5, I had to grind because the yoke bottom from here to here compared to here, it's wider up on top. So the bottom I had to grind just a little bit to accommodate the rings, the clips. And I'm talking, I'll show you how much. They were 30, this measures 37.5. I believe I went to a 38. I think I went to 38.1, which is nothing. So I had to do that. So the notch on the U joint cap will allow me to slip the ring into the groove. And I did it by hand. I would not use a grinder because you can't, it's hard to measure how much you're grinding by hand. But if you can clearly see inside there, they are not touching this metal piece. I mean, I did it by hand so I can have better control of what I'm going to remove. All right, guys, I'm putting this in the car. I'm going to drive it. Hopefully I never fucking have to worry about this again. This U-joint had, it's the original, so it had 240,000 miles on it, I believe. Something like that. So I'm going to clean it up, put it in the car, and drive it. I'll let you guys know how it goes. All right, here's the shaft put back in. So I'm just going to pop the exhaust back in, the shields. But there is zero play when I turn this between shaft 1 and shaft 2. So those lock pins are in perfect spot. No issues anywhere. So I'm going to put the shields in and take it for a ride.